Okay, welcome to the Karen Mitches podcast. Today we have Steve Degay.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm loving your apartment.
Thank you so much.
I love it. You are giving Mary Tyler Moore vibes with this. I'm gagged. I'm gagged. It's like Mary Tyler Moore, but updated for the 2020s, you know?
I love that. I did watch Mary Tyler Moore when I was like a kid.
Yeah.
Like when we were little, like you just watched the same shows adults watch.
Yeah.
So I was like, that was one of my shows.
They were on after school. The reruns were on after school. But I mean, talk about like a time capsule, because look how mother freaking big her apartment was.
Yeah.
Single gal with a low-level job in media, and she lived in like, what, a 3-bedroom? Like, that thing was massive.
Yeah, even just like when I was doing office admin, if I had a friend who was like 10 years older than me, like what she had compared to me would be like fucking crazy. Like 2 extra bedrooms.
Oh, I know. And I shouldn't talk. I shouldn't bitch, because I'm an old guy. I had a chance at all that shit, and I kind of like... I feel like I'm in with the 20-somethings now. Bitching with the Gen Zs.
I don't know. I feel like it's a weird thing. Like, I always thought people who were like, oh, I care too much about my art to want to pursue money were pretentious. But now I get it. Like, if you have a job that sucks, it's hard to go to it every day.
It really
like
is.
It's just hard to function that way. So sometimes you just have to take a lower paying job because you can't.
Yeah.
You can't be miserable your whole life.
Oh, my God. Well, listen, you're setting me up nicely here. Because I just freaking threw a grenade into my freaking life. Like, I just...
What did you do, Steve?
It's not like one thing either. Okay, so I'm going to set the stage for you. I was lying in bed with my boyfriend, you know, the guy I've been with for 7 years.
Nice.
And he's always been, you know, I would say... because when we met, I was like a professional. I was a media professional. I made good money, freelance, but you know, I got a good rate. And then I started doing stand-up. You know, performing was kind of missing from my life. And he was always, I would say he was patient about it. He was supportive. He did his best to be supportive, because to him, he's a math guy. He's like, he's a numbers guy. So when he would see me going out night after night to shitty open mics and, you know, and driving to Hamilton to do a show for $20 when gas was $40, you know, he was just like, it was starting to wear him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're lying in bed and I say, you know, I think I'm getting to the end of this comedy thing. And he just like, his eyes light up. And I say, yeah, I'm not enjoying this anymore. And he said, really? And I said, yeah, I want to try busking. And his face went from this to, he just did this and he said, no, no. And like, it was just like, we just argued and he just kind of like, he's just at the end of my bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
So cut to the chase. I mean, like, I dug my heels in, he dug his heels in, and we split up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I miss him like fucking hell.
Did this just happen?
It happened over Christmas.
Fuck.
So it's still pretty new. It's still pretty new because we've been trying to talk and make it work, but we just won't. Neither of us will budge. Like, we're just like, I'm doing this, you know, and I just...
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like a fucking, okay, girl, I'm going to be 60 this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 60. Shit. And I told my partner, basically, you know, you won't let me be an artist. Fuck you. I'm out of here. You know, like, what the hell am I thinking? I'm going to fucking die alone. You know, because I want to busk. I left him to busk. Like,
when you say busk, like, you mean like with your guitar?
Yeah, with the guitar. Yeah. Because that, I mean, to be real, like, in terms of comedy, that's the part I like most about my comedy.
Because you do some straight stand-up, but then you do, like, musical comedy with your guitar.
Yeah, yeah. When I do a proper show, I have the guitar, and there's like 2 or 3 songs I do with the stand-up in between. And I just, but the guitar part's my favorite. So yeah, so single again, and I'm not working anymore, which is like, the media jobs have dried up, like, and nobody's looking for the next fucking hot 59-year-old, so I'm basically kind of hitting my retirement a little bit early. I was gonna, stop working in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And now it just means I'm doing it now. It's like you said, I can't go into work anymore. Like I physically can't. Like I've done jobs here and there working for other people, and I'm just like, this is torture. Like, if you think it's hard now, wait till you're in your 50s. Like, honestly, it becomes impossible. Like, you're just
I believe you.
Yeah.
I'm 45 and I just understand. First of all, I just believe older people because I've learned that they're always right. Like, everything they told me came true.
Yeah.
And then just like, I just feel like you can only hold these balls in the air for so long, and then it just like, yeah.
It just falls. Yeah. I feel like I think the big thing, when you start in your 20s, the big thing is just being rewarded and being recognized. I think it's just like, whatever job you're doing, whether it's, some office job or whether it's a trades job or a factory job or something. At first, you're just like, wow, I'm accepted, my skills are valued, and I'm being paid. And those things just have diminishing returns over time. And then you're like, and you do realize over time, like, I am 100% existing to make someone else's dreams come true here, Like, I'm just kind of clawing away at this meager existence for this. The big picture is someone else just, you realize you've been bullshitted too. When the boss is just like, wow, when this place couldn't run without you, you're just like, at first you're like, wow, I can't believe this. And then you're like, oh, I've been like played for 20, 30 years, you know?
Like I've worked at places where somebody died and like nothing happened,
That's a really good way to put it.
And it's like, I don't say that to be mean to anyone. I just say like everyone is replaceable and quickly.
Yeah. You do feel it. So yeah. So the other comedy, I don't know. How do you feel like, where are you at? Well, should I ask you that? Where you're at with comedy?
I'm like, okay, so I lost my job back in September.
Okay.
And so I've been on this like hiatus from working, and now I feel like I can't go back to working either. But I don't like, if I hadn't lost my job, I hit the 3-month mark like 2 weeks ago, or sorry, the 3-year mark. So I probably would have looked
at... the 3-year mark of what?
3 years of doing comedy.
Oh, right. Okay.
So if I hadn't lost my job, I would have waited till I was like 5 years or like 8 years in before exploring it as like a full-time job.
Right.
But now that I have this taste of my life without an office job, I'm like, oh, I can't go back.
Yeah.
And so I don't even know what I'm doing at this point.
And you're loving being on stage still.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. I also like, I want to be a screenwriter as well, so I'm working really hard towards that. But it's not in any way a stepping stone for me. I think it's really like, stand-up is like an end in and of itself for me. I really want to do it.
Okay, amazing. See, you're more authentic on stage than I am. I'm fucking fake. I'm like...
But you're theatrical, which isn't the same as fake. Like,
okay, thank you.
Theater.
I play an outrageous version of myself. I think my biggest comedy influence, because I never dreamed of being a comedian. I'm like, growing up, I loved stand-up comedy. I loved, I'm old enough to, like, I remember I loved Steve Martin. I loved Bill Cosby. He was
amazing.
He was funny
My
as
whole
hell.
family watched his special together, and we were all fans.
Oh, he was so funny. And then, and Emo Phillips was the first comedian I was like, wow, like this guy is amazing. Like this guy has something.
Yeah.
If you ever look at, because he really leaned into a bizarre character, and I love that about him. But I never wanted to be a comedian, because comedians dress like shit. Like, I was just like, they looked like losers to me.
Yeah, and they would play up the loser side of themselves. So
Yeah.
you'd somehow think it was like some guy who couldn't do something better.
Yeah. It was just like, you're just up there freaking shitting on yourself.
Were you?
Sorry, go ahead.
Were you always kind of like a character though, like in your life?
Yeah. I was a clown. I was in high school, because I was a gay kid, I had to be guarded. I had to be careful. Like, there was no coming out in high school.
What year would you have been in?
I was 80 to 85. I was in high school.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. And so there was, and I mean, that was AIDS. That was peak freaking AIDS.
Oh my God.
So it was double on us. Like, being gay was just, not something you did back then. And it got worse. Because the 70s things kind of opened up, and then the 80s it just
They
closed.
would bully like a kid who was a hemophiliac.
Yeah.
Because it was, that was like crazy.
Getting a blood transfusion got you bullied, like it was not an easy time. So my thing was to be funny. And I made friends with like some tough boys, and I loved those guys. They were so fun. And we just laughed together. We had fun. And they had to know. But they were so don't ask, don't tell,
Yeah.
But they couldn't fucking get girlfriends either. So I think it all kind of like, I didn't fucking want one. And I think they couldn't get one. So it all kind of worked out, So they were some tough boys. I miss them like hell. I looked them. I can't find them anywhere. I can't find them on Facebook. Nowhere. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you track people down if they're not online.
No. And I'm a little baffled that none of them are searchable. Like, I can't find any of them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now we gotta hire a detective.
To find my high school friends. Oh, I miss those guys. They were so fun.
Do you think there's any way any of them was gay?
Oh, that is a good question. There's one. Yeah. I think he could have been. And he was the meanest one.
Yeah,
he was the meanest.
I could feel that that's the way you might go.
That would track, right?
When you're guarding like a big secret, feeling ashamed.
Yeah. But it was a funny relationship. And I think that's why I don't know, I think I've always had that in me, because like I'm going to do Keys later tonight. I like doing the redneck rooms, like I think they're fun.
Yeah.
Like they're just, there's a certain energy in them where they're just like, there's something liberating about playing those rooms where you can just be the worst version of yourself.
It's the same as like drinking in a dive bar, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
It's like you don't, like everyone around you, you don't know what's going to happen. Like there's characters, there's chaos, like.
Yeah. I think it's exactly that. It's the chaos. And it's the fact that I don't have to live up to any freaking standard whatsoever. I don't have to be careful. I don't have to, and you can have a bad reaction to something, and it's not going to put you in the doghouse forever, But I mean, in the old days, it was hard. Like, I mean, because, a room, especially be gay, the room can fucking turn on you. Like, it's like, they're laughing at you. And then one day, hey, what's fucking up with you? What's up with you? And then you're just like, okay, I got to get out of here fast, because that's where with men, boys, it's like one of them turns on you and sets the tone. And then the others kind of fall in line because they don't want to be on. The room's just been divided here. Yeah. You're the potential, you're the potential victim, and this guy's so you pick your side fast.
Yeah.
Like
you probably are better at reading a room than
I think so. But women have to do that too, because you can be one of the guys until you're not.
Yeah.
Like it can be so fun, it can be so intoxicating, and then it's like, what the hell just happened?
It's funny too. Like the first time I went to Keys, like I didn't know anyone in comedy. So some people showing up there, they'd recognize all the guys from other mics, but I didn't recognize anyone. And the friends I was with showed up late. So I just went in alone. I just saw like all these men that I don't know. And I remember like there was something about it that reminded me of like the 10th grade and like guys I smoked weed with.
Yeah.
And like, cause no one's introducing themselves. They're not smiling. They're not like, you know, so it's off-putting, but then I'm like, oh, because they're being cool. It's exactly like being in the 10th grade. And then I was just like, I think these guys are nice. They're just timid in a male way, which can be scary, but it's not.
Yeah.
And then I look back because I can think of who the guys were, and it's just like they're all sweet people, right? But I think Madison got there later, and I was hoping he was a girl because I saw his name on the list. He shows up, he's a man, but he was also like the only one who like looked me in the eye, and then he told me his name.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this guy is like someone I'd meet in the corporate world. Like, he's fine.
Yeah. I think they get a little bit of their street vibe on. Maybe they just get they're in a bit like kind of protection mode.
Yeah.
But I had some of my best gigs at Keys. It was so fun.
Well, it's a weird thing because the audience would get, like, at the old venue, the audience would get there and be like, what is this, like a rooming house? And you'd have to sort of like calm them down, like, like make fun of the room, and then they'd laugh, and it's like this weird situation we're all in.
Yeah. I didn't get that bill. I'm glad you told me it was a rooming house. I was like, I didn't know what the hell that place was. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I think for me as a performer, like I said, I grew up just loving the rock stars, you know. I just grew up loving Mick Jagger and all those 70s glam artists, Elton John, you know, and all the disco artists. And they were just so, like, it felt like they beat the system. You know what I mean? Because they just said, fuck all the rules, and they became insanely successful. And to me, they had the key to the universe, those people.
And nowadays, like, artists are out there, but in the culture, you can be yourself nowadays. I feel like in the 70s, in day-to-day life, you had to act so normal.
Yeah.
But the musicians were off the wall.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It was a weird decade, the 70s, because it was so cool to say you were bi, but it was so not cool to say you were gay. So everybody was like, this is the 80s. Boy George said he was bi. It was like, girl, like nobody fucking believed that for a second, but you didn't dare say you were gay because it would kill your audience. Of course, Freddie Mercury never came out. Then Elton John came out, I think it was the 90s when he came out. George Michael had to be dragged kicking and screaming out. He had to be caught in a fucking washroom sting.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But I think with him, it wasn't just the homophobia. It was like he was a heartthrob. So it's like you don't want to lose your like adoring female fans.
Yeah.
Although it didn't diminish him for me in the least.
No,
like,
it's like.
I still sometimes remember he's dead, and I'm like, but why?
Yeah. Oh, that was too soon. Holy shit. And I never knew. I think it was just kind of a cumulative thing, right? I think it was like I think he did. It was just like the lifestyle and the drugs and stuff that kind of caught up with him, right? It wasn't like a specific thing.
Yeah, like I don't think he died from any. Like I think it was like heart failure.
Yeah. In his 50s.
Yeah.
God, I think. Oh my God, I think I outlived George Michael.
Oh shit.
But he was another one. Their first hit, I remember, in what was Wake Me Up Before You Go. And the first frame of the first video, of the first picture in that video, you knew he was gay. You know, like, it was just like, there is like, I mean, you could have never heard the word gay in your life. And you saw that first picture of him, you go, gay? Like, instantly. And yet, it took him 20 years past that point to come out. Like, it was just one of those things that, you know, it was so old fashioned in that you don't acknowledge it, you know?
Yeah. So. And it's been like that for forever. Because even like my parents who are like 80s and 90s now are like, people have always been gay. Just no one ever said anything.
No, I know. Oh, listen, I got to tell you this story. My mom once told me about her aunt. My mom grew up in Morrisburg, Ontario, which is like between Cornwall and Brockville. It's on the St. Lawrence.
Amazing.
It's a town, 3,000 people. And she talked to me about her aunt, Margaret, I think it was. And she said, yeah, she was a character. She goes, she used to love fixing things. She would take apart a motorcycle and put it back together. And I was like, like any machine. She just loved to see how it worked. Said, wore a mechanic suit, a leather mechanic suit with a huge tool belt. She says, I'll never forget that. used to love taking the motorboat out on the rapids and scaring everybody because she knew where all the rocks were, and she would do that. She goes, yeah, hung out with men just to talk about sports and stuff. Then she goes, smoked a cigar. And I was like,
Oh my God.
Mom, and then she goes, yeah, never married. I said, yeah, maybe she never found the right man, Mom. And I said, or maybe she was the mother of all lesbians. And my mom said, no. And I was like, I thought that is so what? Because you could live that way in a little town. This would have been the 1940s, maybe,
Yeah.
in Morris, where you could live that way because people didn't even have a word for what she really was.
Yeah.
You know? So you could live that way probably with very little oppression or anything without being picked on.
Yeah. And there's those weird couples in history where like it was just two ladies that lived together.
Yeah.
And no one she lives with her friend. They're best friends.
And they're both librarians, you know? Like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I love that kind of innocence. And the weird like men in history kissing their friends a lot.
Yeah.
Which is like my favorite.
My dad's best friend, because he's known him since childhood, this guy Bob, he was just a year older than my dad, and he's a cutie. Like, I mean, he's in his 90s now, but he was a guy who divorced pretty early. He wasn't married for long, and he just lived in a condo, and he was single after that. And then once he came over, because he dug up all these old photos, and I was looking at them going, you got a lot of shirtless pictures of my dad. And him, I swear. And when I came out, I swear he had trouble making eye contact with me, because it was like talking to me meant that, you know, I think he had so internalized the idea of, well, here I'm saying, I don't even know for sure that he was gay, but I'm pretty freaking sure. I think it seemed like he had so internalized the fear of being outed that even like, you know.
Yeah. Because when you see something, when you're hiding something and you can see it in someone else,
Yeah. And you're just like,
It must be crazy though, because if you grow up in a time period where just you don't accept that about yourself and no one comes out, and then the next generation is coming out. Yeah. That must be like chaos and terror.
Yeah, well, and plus it's like, because I've experienced the fact, you know, I mean, things have kind of gone a bit downhill again. You know, there seems to be a bit of a relapse in terms of like gay rights. But that period where kids were going to gay prom and then there were like high school gay associations and stuff like that. I went through a period where it just felt so unfair, because it was just like, what tortured me, this freaking anchor I've been dragging around, it's not a thing anymore. You know, it was like, at some point I'm glad, but I'm like, fuck you kids. It sucks. You didn't know, you know, you have no idea, you know, what it used to be like, what it was like, where you were just, and where you would just, you know, you internalized all this self-loathing and you just didn't get it. And there was literally no one you could talk to. There was nowhere to go with it. At least until once I didn't come out till university, well into it, you know. So
what school did you go to?
I grew up in Ottawa, so high school was there. I went to a French school in Ottawa, and then I went to Concordia for university. I got the fuck out of Ottawa as soon as I could, girl.
How was Quebec?
Quebec was good. Oh, the gay scene there was fucking amazing. Like one thing, I don't know if that's still the case, but back then, boy, did they know how to run a bar. Jesus, like a nightclub there was just, it was crazy, you know, like the first gay bar I ever went, well, not the first, but the first real time I went to a gay bar was in Montreal, and it was a place called, what was it called? Okay, I can't fucking remember what it was called, but it had cars in it. It was crazy because it was next door to the bay downtown. There was this big kind of loading dock and one little door at the end. It looked so freaking bleak, you know, and there was a bouncer standing next to the door. So no signage whatsoever. And you open the door and you were in freaking gay Disneyland. Like, I mean, colors, lights. There were cars. Was it called the parking? Parking. It might have been called parking. And there were cars in the bar and go-go dancers on the cars. Like it was crazy how fun it was. And it was just, over the top, happy coke, but cocaine and all that, that helped. But it was just wild, like, boy, did they know how to do. And then in Montreal, you always had like one huge gay bar, and then people get tired of that. And then they'd open up another one with a completely different theme, and everybody'd be all over that,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the
Le Garage.
Le
I think
Garage.
it was called Le Garage. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is that the thing too, that like when it's really repressive, the party life is amazing?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Back then, I mean, I'm going on a tangent here, but back then, Montreal, all the gay bars were downtown. And then I think what I heard was it was basically a city initiative where they told all those bar owners, move, where the Village is now in Montreal? It's like St. Catherine East. It was basically, the St. Catherine East was pretty down and out. So the city wanted to revitalize it the same way somebody went to San Francisco and said, hey, we could do that here. So they told the bar owners downtown, move to what would be the Village, or we're going to freaking shut you down. Like they just basically said, you're getting a neighborhood. It's there. Go. Like, yeah, because they could do that back then.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So recording my mother freaking comedy album.
What?
Yeah. 4 years in the making.
I love it.
Yeah. Thanks.
So do you have like the night planned?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be at Burdock on April 21st, which is a Tuesday at 8 p.m. And host is Brian Hatt.
Amazing.
I freaking love Brian. I was so happy when he said yes. And my guest comedian is Angelica Scanura.
Oh my God. She's so good.
I know. I feel like I loaded the night with some freaking pros.
Yeah.
I love them. So I'm just really excited for it.
Okay. So message to comedians to book Steve with long sets.
Yes,
ahead
please.
Of that.
Please. Yeah, I have so much rehearsing to do. Yeah. So this is going to be the culmination of these 4 years work. After this, I'm going to hit the streets. I'm going to busk. I'm going to sing pop songs. I'm going to sing whatever, and I'm going to come up with new material.
I love it.
Yeah. I went into comedy thinking, see, this is where I love what you're doing, because I went into comedy thinking I'm going to find myself on stage. I'm going to figure out who I am on stage. And it brought out a part of me that was fun, that was outrageous, but I feel like a bit of a fraud sometimes. I feel like this is just too much. Like sometimes on the weekend I did some shows in Goderich, and the second show, so these were pride themed shows, but when you're in a small town, over half the audience is straight people. It's allies or just people who are curious because there's a comedy show in town.
Yeah.
And I did so many cum jokes and glory, like I could see people just going like after a while, and I'm like, oh, I'm killing these people.
I feel though, like when I'm on a show with you, like I think the last time we were on a show together, you went bullet, and it was just like you opened up the night with like so much energy, and you like broke people open. I feel like you can save a show in the middle because you come in and just like kind of like comment on shit and be very for real, and it's like it gets everyone going,
Oh,
so
cool.
It's like I don't know. And then I do think there's a certain person, like you're the 1 hour act they want to see, like everyone has their own audience out there.
Yeah I think so. I think there's people who it resonates with, and I do love it. I love being on stage, and I love that I've got to experience being able to just freaking light a room up. Just like, there's before I went on and after I went on, and that's how like 2 different rooms. Like I've experienced that. Like I've just freaking, got the room so excited. And I think that there is something liberating about seeing somebody just talk so openly about, taking a D. That makes everything okay. Like, and like right across, like, I mean, I've seen like straight guys really enjoy the show a lot because I'm just such a pig. Because I'm just so like, talking about dick like I'm talking about washing the dishes,
Yeah, so. I feel like because straight men walk around all day being afraid they might be gay or might be perceived as feminine, and then to see somebody who's just like, yeah, I'm eating dick. They're like, it's liberating. It's like, I think women love it when a girl gets on stage and just talks about like being like hammered or like just messy girl stuff.
Yeah. I love that too. I mean, gays love fucking messy women. Gays love it. You're like when a girl is like, when that girl is, I think. See, I think my main influence for comedy is RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh.
Because, they would have comedy challenges, they would have roast challenges and stuff. And I just freaking watching these drag queens take the piss out of each other is just so fun.
Fuck. Do you know Tale of the Junction?
Yeah.
We did a show there one night, or it was like an open mic, but there was a drag show after us. And when the drag queens started showing up, they were like razzing us while we were on stage.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. Like it was a sad mic.
Yeah.
And then it became an actual show. Like getting made fun of by them was.
I've been on that drag show. They brought me in a couple times.
I love that.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Drag audiences are tough. I've done like the drag open stages, doing comedy on the open stages. And it's been like, because those audiences are pretty belligerent. Like they're either talking over you or shouting at you, but like what you're doing. So if you go in with just like your notes, like it's great training because you got to be ready for everything.
Oh, remember one time me and Ryan Durgee all did that show, and it's hosted by two drag queens.
Yes. And
but it was like a music night, so we were the only stand-ups on it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was like fun for them to have comedians because they weren't used to it.
Yeah.
But like the drag queens were like chatting us up while we were trying to do stand-up, so it became like a different thing.
They think nothing about because they shout shit at each other, right? They're like while they're doing it, they'll like shout, they'll bounce off each other.
Yeah. Being a drag queen.
Girl, you took a dick last night. Like they that's all part of it. The whole kiki thing. They kind of do that live on stage. So
they're like a stand-up combined with like another thing.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's enough just to do stand-up.
I know, and it's enough just to do drag. I look the work they put into it, But yeah, Drag Race just got me in that. And of course, Drag Race, the whole thing is feminine power. It's the idea that you can put on this amazing look, but you can also be trashy and then go right back to right back to being 100% in control. And, I think that's what we love, especially in a woman entertainer, in a female entertainer. We love that. Just like someone who can just, make those switches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, obviously we relate to that. I think, we relate to, be foolishly looking for affection from straight men, like looking, just thinking like, oh God, I was messy, or.
It's crazy how much people like male approval, but do you think anyone who isn't a straight man really wants to be one of them?
Yeah, that's a funny thing. God, Lord, I dodged a bullet there. I would not have been a good straight man. If I was like expected. Small, I got 4 brothers and I got 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and they've all started families. I'm the only one who didn't have kids. So, and I think of myself in my 20s, and it's just like, oh my God, thank God I didn't have children. I don't think I could have ever been a good father at that age.
Yeah.
Maybe at 40, I could have started thinking, okay, at that age, I could start being a good dad. But yeah, it is true that. Yeah, I think,
wait, sorry, there's 2 brothers and a sister?
2 brothers, 2 sisters.
Oh.
I'm second last. So I got a younger brother, I got an older brother, and 2 older sisters.
That's crazy.
Yeah, went girl, boy, boy. Also my poor mom,
Yeah.
She had us all pretty close together, too. She had the whiplash. I was whiplash for my mom. Poor mom, because she had she had babies in 61, 63, 65, and then I came along in 66.
Oh my God.
So she barely got through that that one out and then another one on the way, like.
So is this like a Catholic thing or
Yeah.
just okay?
Yeah. I think, well, she obviously put her foot down after that because it was 4 years before my little brother came along.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I have no idea what those conversations sounded or looked like or what measures they took.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he was an accident.
Did you like having a much younger sibling?
Oh, no.
He wasn't young enough, right? I think
No.
sometimes when you get to like 7 years or 10 years, then they're like your baby.
Well, I'll tell you something else. This was my big struggle. It was that I felt I was picked on a lot for being the youngest. And I was a bit of a weirdo. My dad and I did not get along. Like, it was like I was feeling like the family outcast. And my little brother came along when I was, I guess, 4. And blonde hair, blue eyes, always smiling.
Oh, no.
So
Golden
it was like,
child.
yeah, he came along, he was perfect. And I somehow continued to be the freaking outcast of the family.
No.
So, yeah, so I took it out on him. I've made peace with him. I've told him, I said, God, I was a bastard with you. I'm sorry. I don't feel good about it. But yeah, it was didn't feel super fair, Anyway.
So do you still spend time with all your siblings?
Yeah. I love going to see them, now that we're all grown up, now that we have some perspective on, who we were and what it was like. And, oh, God. Yeah, they're cool. Most of them are in Ottawa still. Or they left and they came back to Ottawa.
Yeah. My sister's thinking about taking a job in Ottawa.
Oh.
Dude.
What's
your opinion on the city?
Oh, I mean, don't go there with any kind of ambition. I mean, it's really not that, it's people who it's a good place. It's a great place for nature. Or anybody will tell you that. Like, you drive 10 minutes from downtown and you're in freaking Gatineau Park. You're in, like, there's you can drive 10, 15 minutes to be at a beach or on a lake. Like, it's great for that. But it does have the vibe of people who have very predictable lives. Like, it's not, you just don't get the diversity of, not that you have the diversity of people in terms of race and culture, but you don't have the diversity in terms of passion, in terms of, pursuits.
Yeah. Everyone's going to bed early and
yeah. Freaking Ottawa. You couldn't get me out of there fast enough.
Did you come to Toronto right after university?
Not right after. I did like 3 years at Concordia, and then I lived there for about another 5 years before I came to Toronto. And I loved Montreal. You had to drag me kicking and screaming out of there. Like, back then, Toronto was just inevitable because Montreal's economy was still in the toilet. Like, I mean, I did communication studies and I just had shit work. I mean, I was doing wedding videos. I was doing shitty corporate videos in Montreal. And then I come to Toronto. I was dating a guy long distance. And I run into a friend from university, and she was working for TFO, like the French TV Ontario. And she just said, "Oh, you should come. They're hiring. If you speak French, they're hiring." So I went like almost immediately, and they offered me a contract. And then another contract. It was just like, okay, I was working in broadcast all of a sudden. I was working in shit that was going on TV, not just wedding videos,
Nice.
Yeah, Montreal was just very much a kind of a let's just hang out kind of vibe,
So did you miss like the partying in Montreal when you got here?
Yeah, and I miss the casual nature of life because we used to just leave the house. A couple of us would be having drinks at my place and we'd walk to the clubs and scoop some people up on the way. And, I really miss that. And then an early experience of coming to Toronto was just dropping in on somebody, just saying, "Hey, I was in the neighborhood." And he was like, "What are you doing here?" Like, it was really like, you don't show up at someone's house without calling. Like, it was like, that was a bit of a shock to me.
Yeah.
That you could show up at someone's house and they would, even though they were your friend, they could be like, "Yeah, don't do this." Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I had a jarring moment in my 20s when I was new to Toronto, and then I realized like Toronto is like the workaholic city.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because I was from London, Ontario, so we came here to go shopping and see theater, and I thought it was I thought it was New York City for Canada.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's weird because it is like the most, I don't know, it's where people go for their career.
Yeah.
And I think Montreal's got like the more party vibe.
Yeah.
Vancouver is like if you're chill and you're into nature.
Yeah. 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 That's what I would say. Yeah. Ottawa is Vancouver of the East sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, or you could say Vancouver is like Ottawa with mountains, but I think Vancouver's probably a little, I don't know. I haven't been in a long time. So,
Yeah.
but I have heard Vancouver's a little more chill, but yeah. So that's clear. I mean, London and Ottawa can't be that different because London was insurance companies, right? Didn't everybody work for an insurance company in London or Labatt?
Yeah. My high school was right near the Labatt Brewery, and like all the boys used to like steal cases of beer from there. It was like a pastime kind of.
That's awesome.
And then we drink down by the river.
Yeah. It was, the cool thing about Ottawa, when I was in high school, back then Hull was a thing because all the bars on the Ottawa side would close early. You probably experienced that in London, right? When bars used to close early.
I think they were until 2 by the time I started going.
Oh, okay. So you remember, you knew you landed on better days. But yeah, so being in Ottawa, we could just cross. The bars in Hull were open till 3. And they were just a magnet for bad Ontario kids, So the first time I went to a bar, I think was a stripper bar in Hull, and I was 14.
Oh my God.
And when I was 14, I looked like I was 11. And they didn't, and we used to, it was so funny back then. There was a bar our high school used to hang out at. And of course, they liked having high school girls there for very gross reasons. And I remember we would show up sometimes and the bouncer would just go, yeah, sorry, not tonight, kids. Meaning there was an inspector, or they got a tip off that an inspector would come by.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Shameless.
Shameless. Yeah. And then they closed that whole strip, eventually got closed down. After Ontario increased the last call to 2 a.m., the strip in Hull just died because it was only an extra hour.
Yeah.
And it was just attracting high school. It was just attracting 18-year-olds because the drinking age in Quebec was 18. So it was just getting the fighters and the pukers after that.
Well, it's kind of like end of an era, right?
Yeah. Aww. It's not even called Hull anymore. That broke my freaking heart.
What's it called?
It's called Gatineau.
Oh.
Which
is, so that, but Gatineau is also like a whole region.
Yeah, you see, it was like, when we did the mega city in Toronto, and Toronto took over, I guess, York and Scarborough and all those municipalities. They did the same thing in Quebec. And in Outaouais, which was the French side of Ottawa, was 3 main cities. It was Hull. Hull was the main city. And then you had Gatineau and Aylmer. And those were the main cities. And then the government, when they amalgamated, normally they would have picked the name Hull, but the Quebec government didn't like that. It was an English name. They felt that had negative history. I know. Fuck those assholes. Like, just completely erasing a history. It would have been the same as amalgamating Montreal and calling it Laval. Like, it was just like Gatineau was like, that was where, that's where the trashiest strip joints were. It was just like Gatineau. It was just, it was like lame. Nobody went to Gatineau,
Yeah. Is Quebec getting crazier? Like, the government seems insane right now.
Does it? I haven't been keeping up. You see, that's why at first I didn't like Toronto, and then I came to very much appreciate Toronto, because Toronto gets the fuck out of your way. Like, Montreal is all up in your business. If you want to make it in the arts, you better like fit in this narrow lane of what they are looking for.
Yeah.
Like they were. It wasn't good to me in terms of like me getting into the media business, because my last name was French, but weird French. I spoke French with a bit of an Ontario accent. They told me that like 20 times a day I heard that I had an English accent when I spoke French. It was just like, not one of us, So I appreciated that Toronto, just like, it's kind of just, LA is like that. It's just kind of a blank slate. You can do what you want. You know, it doesn't tell you anything about what you should be or ought to be. Whereas Montreal is one of these, it's like a European city where it's just like, you know, like you're not doing the thing that we want you to do. So you're going to have to work on the margins, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel that same kind of sense like within Toronto comedy where it's just like, kind of like anything goes?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I think comedy has been fair to me, has been very good to me in terms of, I feel it's like one of the more fair workplaces, don't you?
In what sense?
You get laughs or you don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, because sometimes I'm like I'm thinking about an opportunity someone else got and I didn't get it. And I'm like, I wish I got that. But then I'm like, I don't know. I do feel like as long as I keep going, I keep leveling up and I keep feeling it. Right? Like no one's handed me like a big job or something yet.
Yeah.
But I feel it from the audiences and it's like, yeah, it is. It rewards the level you're at.
Yeah. I feel that way too. I feel like you kind of, yeah. And for me, it's been so random because there's, you know, between us and
Whoever wants to watch.
And your Pixel 8 Pro, like there's a lot of queer rooms I can't do or I won't do or they won't book me because I'm old school gay, you know, like I'm guessing this because there's a lot of queer shows that I'm just not on. And in fact, I've had it confirmed in the sense that, like, you know, there's one guy who books me for out of town gigs, but doesn't book me for Toronto gigs.
Yeah.
And it's because I think I kind of rub the queers and the they thems the wrong way because I'm like I'm an old fag, you know, like I just say terrible things, and I get it. I mean, people go to queer themed shows to not be shit, to, you know, to have to feel that, like, to not get, anyway, whatever. For whatever reason, I tend not to get booked on those shows. So that's just a random thing I didn't really expect.
Yeah, well, when I started, I thought, like, as a woman, I'd get booked on all these, like, progressive shows and women-oriented stuff. But it's like, I'm like a white lady in my 40s with a corporate job. Like, I don't represent the progressive shows. And I get it. They're cultivating a certain vibe for a certain audience.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not saying, like, I need to be here and there and the other. But I was just like, oh, yeah, like, I am more, I don't know. Like, that's not my home, which is fine.
Yeah.
I like that home exists for people who want that and who belong there.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, yeah, if I want to be on a show with, like, the old fags.
Yeah, yes. Thank you. That's where the fun is, seriously. And I do think, but that's the thing. That's why I don't cry that I don't get into rooms that are too progressive, because I'm like, I feel like you're coming here for comfort a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just want to have that big outrageous laugh. And of course, I don't think you get those outrageous laughs without just being a little bit of a dick, you know, without being a bit of a clown, without being insensitive, you know, like,
yeah.
And I just love that. I love those insensitive comedians, you know?
There's something, like, as much as, like, I'll say, like, oh, I've felt unsafe in comedy. It's like, but not so unsafe that I didn't go any of the places I wanted to go.
No, yeah.
And that has something to do with, like, my personality type. I don't think every woman should feel comfortable or force herself to go somewhere. So it is a bit of a privilege if I can go somewhere and have a good time there. And I do like being in a room where there's shittier people than me.
Yeah.
And no one's going to be like, Karen, you said something that kind of made everyone uncomfortable.
Oh, dude. I did a show at Glad Day on Church. Because they used to have comedy shows there. And it was another comedian. I won't say who it was, but he's a gay comedian. And as soon as the show was over, they had like a manager. There was like a bar manager for Glad Day. And Glad Day is the most, like, I don't know, I guess you could say, like, represents that kind of the more progressive side of gay culture. Anyways, the show ends, and I'm standing next to the other comedian, and the bar manager walks straight up to them and goes, "So I have some notes." And I just said, "Okay," and I just, like, walked 10 feet away, and then I just watched the comedian like this, you know, with his hand in his palm, and this other guy just going over, like, a whole series.
Oh no!
And it's just like nobody nobody gets into comedy to have that happen.
Yeah.
You know, like that's where I'm like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
that's why I'll never demand to be in a room, you know, like if they want me, I mean, I do love playing for gay audiences. I love it. And I do acknowledge that I'm not right for every queer audience.
My thing is like, I like an audience that has a lot of women and gay men or feminine men in it, because those are the people like who come up to me afterwards and like, oh my God, when you said that thing, like they connect with it the most, like on a personal level.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want any room that's going to laugh and go crazy, but that extra thing where people connected to your material is so important.
Yeah.
So it's like, in that sense, I do want to be in with the most progressive producers, because I'm like, yeah, they have all my kind of people. But it is like, yeah, if I don't belong somewhere, I'm cool if the producer keeps me away from it rather than have me go there and then feel shitty that I showed up.
Because it is true. If they think we're not right for that room, they're probably right. You know, and I just think it's just a chance. I like to think of myself as a Friday night comedian, as a Saturday night comedian, as just like, hell yeah, let's fucking party. Like, let's just freaking.
I definitely see you with a drunk crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
I love the drunk crowds. I love it.
Gay, straight, just as long as they're, 2 drinks in.
Exactly. And it is fun. And I love, there's always, it's funny, like it's become a bit of a joke where in gay bars they complain about, the bridesmaids, what do they call it? The bachelorette parties. I fucking love the bachelorettes.
Oh my God.
Fucking love them. And, and I don't think I've seen girls be misbehaved drunk, but it's not the end of the fucking world. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I want everybody in a gay bar.
Kendall Abella does a show that's like bridal themed.
I did that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was great.
She's the first person I ever heard say that she actually likes performing to a bridal party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. Once we did a Pride show. I think it was in Stratford, and we had a whole table of freaking bridesmaids, and they were just a blast. They were the most fun people in the room. Like, even the gays were a little more subdued. Like these girls were a blast, And as long as you're ready to just kind of take your set list and go, okay, you just engage with them in a way that's fun, that you make sure it's not boring for the rest of the audience, or it's not,
I wonder if you could promote yourself as a comedian for
weddings?
Bridal. Well, for like the brides.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of the time they go out to an event, but like I think sometimes there's stuff at the house, like you're having drinks. Like I remember going to a lot of stuff where like you have some lady selling sex toys and she'd do like a demo for everyone.
Oh,
but you could have like at your house before you go out dancing or whatever, like a comedian come in.
That would be, you know what? Yeah, I would 100% do that show. I would totally do that show.
There's so much money in weddings.
Oh, yeah.
And
listen, that's how I cut my teeth in television, was weddings. And I'll tell you, you learn something. It was the best training, because when you're making, I don't know, I'd say any artistic product, like whether it's a video or a photo or even a comedy bit, like you want to bring an action out of the person. You don't want to, like, I think people miss the mark when they're just like, oh, I want people to feel this, or I want them to think this. It's like, no, you want them to do this. So a comedian knows they want the audience to laugh. They want them to do something. And wedding videos, you make them cry. Like, that is the thing. That was my goal. Like, I'd pick the music, I'd put the shots together, I would slow motion this, and it was just like, I'm going to make them bawl their fucking eyes out. And that was just really good training in terms of anything, because it's just like, that became my thing. It's like, what action do I want out of the viewer? And it was just like, do I want them to throw their shoe at the TV? Do I want them to pick up the phone and scream at someone? Do I want them to, I feel you do something, you make a better product that way. You make a more compelling product when you do that.
I love that.
Yeah. That's why I think comedians are You know, if you're a musician, you want people to. Do you want people to dance? Do you want them to, you know? I don't know. I don't know what else.
I guess it depends on the type of music. Like,
Yeah. But that's the other thing too. Like with music, you probably want to make them dance, or you want to make them cry. You know,
sing.
Yeah. Sing along, or I think that would be those would be three really good ways to make a good song. If you could do one of those three things. But yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited for my show, but kind of sad too. Like I feel like I don't know. Maybe you know what? If I do this video and I can use it to get gigs on cruise ships, fuck yeah. Like, I will keep doing this act till I die. But I feel like I'm just running out of dick jokes. I just can't keep making, you know, this. I feel like I'm making the same jokes over and over now. And I'm having trouble growing my act.
I feel like the creating the album could be like a bookmark, a way to like then move on. Yeah,
like a signpost or a milestone, like, and that's why I'm excited to do busking, because I think I'm having trouble growing my act 5 minutes at a time at open mics, or, you know, and then whenever I get to a proper set of 10 or 15 minutes, I feel, well, I got to do my best stuff. You know, so and whereas if I'm out on the street singing Heart or singing, you know, classic songs, like, I'm just going to try to get people to stop. Yeah, there's my action. My action is I want them to stop, and I want them to put fucking money in my case.
Yeah.
You know, so that's going to be my goal.
And it's rooted in, like, you've got the audience, you got to keep their attention. So it's going to push you to, like, be entertaining and find it in everything you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's, you know, money is maligned, but it's a damn good yardstick, you know? Like, we don't have a ton of yardsticks for what we do, like, because it's invisible, really, you know? We put words in the air or whatever, but if people, like, you know, reach into their wallet, pull out their credit cards and agree to see you on a Wednesday night at 9, like...
Yeah. It's a pretty good indicator.
That's a fucking stamp of approval, you know? If I can be on Queen Street or in Kensington Market and get people to stop what they're doing and throw $5 into a guitar case, I'd be like, hell yeah. Like, I think that might be, that would be really cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end.
Yeah.
Will you remind me again when you're doing your recording?
It's April 21st, 8 p.m., at Burdock Music Hall. So it's a Burdock Brewery on Bloor Street West near Dufferin, because I think there's one in Kensington, so it's not that one. So it's Burdock Music Hall, Bloor and Dufferin, 8 p.m. with Brian Hatt and Angelica Scanura. Jesus Christ. What the hell happened to my mouth there? And me I'm going to do a full 35, 40-minute set.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And where can we find you on socials?
At Steve.Degay, Degay on Instagram, Steve Degay on Facebook. I have and TikTok. I have a same thing, Steve.Degay.
Nice.
Those are the big ones. And my website, stevedegay.com.
I love it. Thank you so much.
This was so fun. Thank you. This could not have gone better. Awesome.
Steve.
We're going to do shows together. I can't wait to be on a show next time.
For sure.
Yeah.